guys, welcome back to another movie review, and today we are reviewing Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is obviously the follow-on to Inside Out 1, and I have previously done a video on this movie, so if you are interested, please go back and watch that in the previous video. But Inside Out 2 is the new release from Pixar, which is following on from that first movie. And Riley is now 13 plus, she's a teenager, she's going through it, and alongside joy, anger, sadness, fear, and disgust, we get some new emotions, because obviously when you get older, you get new emotions, and this is what Pixar does well. They understand and they can relate to the audience, which is why they're so successful. And in this movie, the new emotions are anxiety, we get envy, we get embarrassment, and those three emotions are like what determine you as a teenager. You get embarrassed, you envy because you want things, you want to, you want this, I want that, I want to be like these girls, I want to be like those guys in high school or whatever. And then anxiety, obviously, the older you get, the more you worry and you sweat and you pant and you stress about things. So adding the extra emotions in there really does fledge out the story and makes it really believable. The first Inside Out movie was a real good movie, one of my favorite Pixar films of all time, but I think some of the bits of the plot do let it down a little bit, but the actual enjoyment level of it is really, really good. What I will say is watching these very close together, they do this so well, but like the second one is a carbon copy of the first one in terms of it flows really, really well. There is a new director in this movie. The first director doesn't come across. I think it's Lee Untrich or Pete Docter, one of them in the first movie, but he doesn't come across. Pete Docter is the director on the first one. He doesn't come across. He's more of a producer on the next one, but it does have that same feel rather than feeling like a totally different film and made by different people. That much so that I actually think I preferred Inside Out 2 over Inside Out 1. I think it had a lot more deeper levels to it and the deeper meanings, especially with all the different emotions, obviously. I said in my first review that there is a lot of elements in the movie that you kind of do relate to, and this is no exception. There is a lot of emotions in that second film which, that us as adults do relate to, as well as, of course, children. It's a fun film, it does everything right, and it has that Pixar magic in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, there is some flaws in there. There is some moments where it could be a bit, bit of a drag at some times, and, some of the story elements are questionable, but it's one of those films that has kicked off the summer here in the UK. It's really busy in cinemas. It was really busy when I went to see it. It's one of those films where, it's making a statement, and it's obviously now taking more money than Dune as well. It's the highest grossing film of the year in America, so it's having its moment that it deserves, in my opinion. Joy, anger, disgust, all of the characters from that first movie, of course, Joy, they come back with the same charm, the same wit, the same everything, the same elements that they had in the first one. The characters of them, their main goal is to improve Riley. And what's exciting about this is obviously the first movie we had Riley maybe from like a child all the way to maybe 10, 11. And now in this film, we've got Riley in her teen years, trying to fit in and trying to be really good at hockey and envy other girls and have anxiety about other things. There's so much you can do with this. And what's interesting is, you could have Riley now in her mid-20s meeting her boyfriend or her husband to be, and then they get married, and then it turns into a bit of a love story. And obviously these emotions will still come back because these emotions happen and these are a thing, and there may be like a maternal emotion when she's a mother. There is no end to where they can go with Inside Out, and that's what's quite exciting about it. So Inside Out 2, what did I actually rate it? Well, I said in the video I actually preferred it to Inside Out 1. Enjoyment level, I definitely preferred it over Inside Out 1, but I also think it was a better made film. I think the elements of the other emotions really did well, and I think it, being 9 years after the first movie, I think it's progressed with the times enough, and they've actually listened to modern day culture of listening to emotions and all that in terms of mental health, anxiety, all of that, and they've now added into the film, which I think is a great addition. For that, I actually gave it a 4.5 stars. It really is one of my favorite Pixar films that I've seen probably in the last 5 years, guaranteed. It's up there, when you think of Turning Red, Lightyear, Luca I loved, Onward. Over the last couple of years, they haven't really hit the heights that they have before, but I think Inside Out 2 now is the start of, is maybe the resurgence of Pixar, and hopefully we get back to what we love from, the older films, because I'm not saying those films are bad, like Onward and all that, but this is where it's like classic Disney Pixar, it's hitting those heights again. So yeah, there it is, Inside Out 2, amazing film and a great movie to watch in cinemas if you are interested with just your girlfriend or your family or whatever. It is a film for everybody, so I would highly recommend you go and watch it. Thanks so much for watching though, guys, of course, and if you have missed my Inside Out 1 revisiting, please go back and watch that there. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.